Welcome to the StockManor.com studios here in the snow-covered hills of South Dakota. This is your Stockmanor Brian Johnson. I'm making professional trading simple. And we had a little creep back up right to this overhead resistance. Now, I said it yesterday. And I'll say it again. Who's brave? Are you brave enough to go ahead and go short here? Seems to be holding pretty well in the past. Will it hold very well this time? We've been creeping up to it, creeping up to it. Now we're at that 10.50. We actually closed 10.501 today. So we're at the level. And I said, pretty defensible short. Why not? Now that the trading day is over, you have to be very careful if you're still long or short in this particular stock. Like I said, options expiration week usually has volatility towards the beginning of the week, but we've seen this in the past when it gets close to this overhead resistance. Slow down, kind of chop sideways, and that's kind of what we're seeing right here. We're looking at a little chop sideways. I did mention that I wouldn't be surprised if we did just kind of move a little bit sideways today because that's been what's happened in the past. So why not continue it in the future? Now we have a very interesting point where we are right at a heavy, heavy overhead resistance and have hit it a few times in a row. I'm going to duck to the daily here and show you how we're right back up to it again. And it makes it very difficult to go short up here just because is this the time it's going to break up? Is this the time, is it going to continue down? What's it going to do up here? Very, very hard to make a decision here, especially during options expiration week. Tomorrow, hopefully, will give us a little bit more of a direction unless we have another day where it chops sideways and just stays up here, kind of a little bit up, a little bit down, and then ends the day on that tiny little doji. We've seen a lot of that in the past. If I zoom this in, I can show you that seems to be what the markets like to do when they get to this overhead resistance. Here we got up close, move sideways up here, move sideways up here. Now maybe we move sideways for a day. Start to see some volatility pour in on Wednesday. I'd be watching this very closely. As I've said in the past, this motion that we've had up here is bullish. Has to be looked at as bullish behavior. So continue to watch this. Maybe we get a break tomorrow. Oh, that could be kind of exciting if we actually get some movement to the market. Let's watch and see if this will get up and above this area. If you went short today and are holding into tomorrow, you got to be very careful come the morning. Options expiration week has a tendency to gap a lot during the course of the overnight trading. I think, we may have seen a lot of the volatility. We'll see if any major news comes out tonight. I think a lot of it came, if there was going to be any, would have come out over the weekend. We did have a little gap up today. But as you can see, it kind of sat right here all day long. So we move forward to the NDX on the 60-minute. You can see that it's almost back to its overhead as well at 1815. On a daily, you can see it starting to move back up. There's that overhead resistance right up above us. Any push over 1815 takes us back to 1820, maybe even 1825 now. I'd be watching this lower trend line for that first resistance over that area. Here we are on a weekly. Like I said, still looking very bullish, hanging out right up here. So watch for a push above it. Any hard push above it, especially a weekly close above it. Man, on the overhead on the weekly takes us back to that 1975-ish area. We could get back up into here, almost this 2000 area on the Dow. Wow, that'd be a huge, huge move from this March low. SPX on a 60-minute, you can see it back up here to that 1115 area, which is what I mentioned today. Remember I said up and over 1115? Look what our high was today. 1114.76. So it's abiding by that area very well. 1115 to the 1120 area is probably going to be our major area of overhead resistance. But watch the 1115 mark. See if that breaks. That would be your point to maybe get long if you want to take a short up here. If you did that today, that's okay. Why not? It's a very defensible place to do it. The markets didn't move at all the rest of the day, so it was hard to get any real play on it. If you're holding into tomorrow, be watching closely. Any break over 1117, I'd probably be looking to cover if you were short from today. On the break up, look for it to hit that 1125 area. Right above it, that would be my first line of resistance for it. From a weekly standpoint, you can see it slowly starting to push its way up into this overhead resistance line. We have yet to touch it. This is a major, major line of resistance up here. VIX on a daily, it was down, confirming the move up today. You can see it kind of moved down here on the weekly as well. The weekly, obviously, we got a long ways to go before we see it. But from a daily standpoint, things are moving down, which means more fear starting to slowly seep out of the market. Apple on a 60.